All right, everybody, check this out. I did a beautiful thing in the winter. In the middle of the winter, we shot a docu-film about the Roosevelt roller rink. People always want to know, how did all of these celebrities rise out of Roosevelt? And what we found, me and my producers, we found backstage and back up entertainment, we found that one of the common denominators of all those successful people, the Roosevelt roller rink. So that's why we did the movie, The Last B-Boy. So I gotta tell everybody, we're not gonna send anybody any clips of the movie. We didn't spend that kind of money to send you guys clips. We're going to finish editing the movie, and once the movie is edited, we will shop it and we will go to the highest bidder. And it's as simple as that. So we'll have a showing for the actors and for the film companies that would bid on it. Now,
it's 1979 all over again for an independent film crew on Long Island. The movie is called The Last B-Boy 1979, The Roosevelt Roller Rink. It's a fictional feature set in the skating venue, a hotspot during the early days of hip-hop. The writer and director is Andre Gilty, a former rapper who grew up in the neighborhood.
People don't understand it was kids who started hip-hop. They weren't adults, it wasn't corporate, it wasn't colonized. It was children just creating stuff for them to have a good time.
The film was shot partly at the Roosevelt Youth Center and here in Seaford at the United Skates of America. Actors were cast from all over Long Island and New York City. What part are you playing in this movie?
I will be playing Nene.
And who is she? What's her role in the film?
Oh, she's the feisty one, the prettiest girl in school. All the guys like her. She just has spunk.
One star of the film is Chuck Chillout, a DJ at WBLS who helped put hip-hop on the map.
Well, it was hard to get in them skate rinks. You know, you had to have a name back then. You know, so you talking 1980, 80, 81. You know, you had to have a name to get them. To get in a real big skate rink back then, you had to have a name.
Using break dancers, skate dancers, and even karate experts, Gilty says his movie strives to be authentic and historically accurate.
So we try to show them that these are all of the elements. This is how we dress. This is how we talk. We have the slang. Give me some slang, man.
Word to the mother. Say that.
Principal photography for The Last B-Boy 1979, the Roosevelt roller rink, wrapped up at the end of March. The release date has yet to be announced. For Newsday TV, I'm Rafer Guzman.
two things that I want to bring up today. Every time people talk about redistricting, Dorothy Gooseby has been upset about redistricting. And it's fine to hoop and holler and run behind the senior councilwoman. It's great for romantic, but I'm not here to be romantic today. Dorothy Gooseby promised 20 years ago to refurbish and restore and reestablish St. Francis Street Park. She has not done so, and she has the funds to do this from the COVID relief money. So what I would say to Dorothy Gooseby, you get a F. And the reason why she gets an F is because when Ben and Jerry's wanted to pull out of Israel, New York decided to pass a law stating that it is illegal for you to boycott doing business with Israel. Now, Dorothy Gooseby went with her contemporaries at a press conference to support this endeavor. And what I told her was I did not appreciate her doing that because when the Haitian immigrants were being chased with horses at the Mexican border, those same contemporary politicians on the Hempstead of Apartheid, Town of Apartheid board, council, would not have the same press conference talking about the injustices. So that's number one. What we are talking about is restore St. Francis Street Park, Don Clavin, because if you don't, you can lose your seat. You saw what happened to Swazi. Don, it could happen to you. The other thing, this is to Bruce Blakeman. Now, Bruce Blakeman, you are running around on the sets of movies. You're with the Wahlberg brother from Blue Bloods. You are with him. I get it. You are with Joan Jett at the Lakeside Amphitheater, and you are also with Matt Damon at the hospital. I get it, because I just did a movie. One of the things that is disrespectful of the legislature, you have failed to complete the process of the street naming after the world famous group where Flavor Flav and Chuck D, the S1Ws, and Terminator X, and Professor Griff, and myself as an affiliate member, you have failed to do the street naming thing. But when Dr. J came to Roosevelt, you were there smiling with them, talking about you and your ball game. So Mr. Blakeman, what I would say to you is that out of all due respect, why don't you make sure that they do the street naming for this world-renowned group that is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and that has a Lifetime Grammy Award. It is out of respect that we tell you to do the right thing. All right, now let's get on with the casino. Right now, the African American Media Network, as you know, we are celebrating 30 years, and we are also celebrating 50 years of hip hop. And now it has come to the point where there is another bid to develop the Nassau Coliseum, which was one of the venues here in Long Island. Now, the last project, let's talk about that, the Lighthouse. In the name and respect of the late Mr. Charles Wong, he had a great idea to bring a city into the middle of the parking lot. It was too big. You know, he wanted two 19-foot towers with a bridge. It was a colossal mess, what he envisioned. But if he had scaled it down, there would have been some possibilities. After that, RXR, with Jay-Z in tow, developed and won the bid to redevelop and restore the Coliseum at the cost of maybe $250 million. And then when COVID came, that whole situation went bust. So that's where that is. Now we have the Sands Casino offering to build a resort in our backyard, a world-class 5-star resort. And that's what you have been watching preceding me coming to do this roundup. And what we would say to you is that something has to be done at that location, even if it's a flea market for local minority black vendors. There has always been a place for the small vendor to gather on a Saturday in the open, in a parking lot. Whether it was Roosevelt Raceway, whether it was in Elmont, where now the USB Center is, or whether it was somewhere else. There was always an outdoors open market. We recommend that they do this again at USB as well as the Nassau Coliseum. And the people who are interested, Sands Resorts, who are interested in bringing you a resource center that needs a lot of hurdles to be jumped. First, it needs to address the lawsuit that is being brought by the Hofstra University, which is right next door to where the casino would be. That's one. Number two, they have to get approval from the state. Number three, the governor has her 2 cents to put into it, hopefully. And then number four, and the most important, are the citizens of Uniondale. How will they fare with this resort in their midst? So what we're going to do, as the African American News has done for 30 years, we're going to follow this story, and we're going to get up close and personal with all of the people, places, and things, the players that are going to be mediating this whole thing. So you're going to have protests, you're going to have pro. What we're going to do is bring you everybody's piece of the pie, and you will decide ultimately what you want there.
My name is Norbert Rietzler, and I'm the Chief Procurement Officer at Sands. We are the largest integrated resort company in the world, which means we built these beautiful big campuses that include 5-star hotels, restaurants, spas, pools, convention centers, and casinos. We want to bring those world-class investments and services here to Long Island, and our initial plans have an investment of $4 billion that we want to bring to this community here. This will provide thousands of jobs for ongoing jobs, but we also need about 2,500 supplier partners. These are architects, designers, construction firms, MEP firms, food and beverage suppliers, marketing companies, and the list goes on. We believe that Long Island is exactly the right place. We believe that Nassau County is the right community for us, and we want to invest in this community and build a partnership with the people in Long Island.
And I have the honor of being one of the trustees at Nassau Community College. So on behalf of Dr. Jorge Gardin, the chairman of our board, and the other trustees, I welcome you there. A significant number of businesses and community leaders are here to hear what is the future. So with that being said, I would like to turn over the microphone to Mr. Norbert, who is Vice President at Sands. I hope.
I am very efficient. I'm going to turn the microphone right over to Frank.
Hey everybody, when you get to know Norbert, he needs a build-up. So that's what I'm here to rise. Hey, there you go. You're worth waiting for.
Thank you.
All right. So this is our second event like this. I have, we have to be prepared, so like they gave me a list and I'm going to go through it. I have to thank everyone. What's funny is, what they didn't include on the list is themselves. True story. And, this is something that's a transcending event going on, or could go on or will go on here, right in the heart of Nassau County in Uniondale. There's, there are folks that want to invest in our county, want to invest in our communities. And the truth is, they started off right. They really did, and they really are. And not just procurement, basically, everything. They understood. They didn't have to wait for, say, the Nassau Council of Chambers of Commerce to say, hey guys, you got to start at the grassroots level. It was exactly the opposite. They reached out to us. Isn't that right? So I want to thank the Sands for having us here and involving us all in, in what they're doing, moving forward, and giving us an opportunity, in these businesses here tonight to make some money. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay. I want to thank the Nassau Council of Chambers of Commerce and our board, that's my organization. We're the umbrella organization of all the 45 chambers in Nassau County, representing all the small businesses as best we can. We are the chambers. I want to thank all the chambers that are here, there's a lot of them here, and all the great work they've been doing. That's what it's all about. Gina Coletti, Bob Fonte from the Suffolk Alliance of Chambers of Commerce. He's awesome. They're a Suffolk sister organization. I think Bob's on his way. I don't know, I spoke to him. They do a great job. I transcended Nassau County today, and it's pretty big. I can't imagine what they do in Suffolk. It's amazing, right? The Minority Business Development Agency, National Minority Supplier Development Council, the U.S. Department of Commerce. I'm thanking all these folks, okay? The Nassau County Office of Minority Affairs, and the Executive Director, the great Lionel Chitty. Is Lionel here? Uh-oh, he'll come later. Both the Farmingdale and Stony Brook Small Business Development Centers, Nassau County Community College, great campus. I got my associate's degree here, as I'm sure many of you did. I have have had good times. It's a great university, or will be maybe one day. We're thankful we all found it here. Okay. Got a shout out to both our organization's minority regional members. Louis Vasquez, I know he's here, I just saw him. Where's Louis? Long Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Liz Wellington is here somewhere, right there. Oh, who's here? Long Island African American Chamber of Commerce. And you know, I thought Eric was coming, but you know, my friend and our friend Eric Alexander from Vision Long Island, he's involved with a lot of our projects on a grassroots level, and he understands grassroots. And you know, he was out during the pandemic promoting our small businesses in our communities when everybody else was hiding. So he's a great guy. Everyone knows that. Okay. My name is Frank Morano. Get into me, I guess. I'm the president of the National Council. Welcome to the Sands Procurement Academy. In person, finally, right? The Sands Procurement Academy was a promise that came out of our initial kickoff meeting at Farmingdale, led by the National Council and the Suffolk Alliance back in December. The Sands and the Council held a very successful online procurement academy, which I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, back in March, but committed to doing an in-person meetings moving forward so we could make an even greater impact for Long Island small businesses. And here we are today doing just that. As you all know, Sands has made a commitment to procure locally for its project. For this to happen successfully, connecting with and educating small businesses early in the procurement process, letting them know the needs the Sands will be looking for is key. Let's just face it, this is something that most folks have never done before, let alone for a project/development as large as this. Sands is here early in the process, working with us because they know that we all need to begin now to get ready to be able to be part of such a transformational project for Long Island and our local communities. We commend them for that. Small businesses have been through so much the past few years, and the chambers of commerce and their leaders have been on the front lines doing their best to ensure any resources available were connected to those who needed them, and they continue to do so. If you are a chamber leader and or a member of their board, please stand up if you're in the room. Don't be shy. They're shy. Go around. Okay. I know Sands has been proud to work with you all on these academies and will continue to do so along with I am sure a host of other stuff as well. Some of you may need help preparing for doing business with the Sands and taking the steps toward the path for procurement. Please know there are resources that exist and there are incredible organizations who have freely given their time tonight, so stop by the resource fair, right outside, if you haven't already, and check them out afterwards. There are also flyers with way more information. I think that we have them here someplace. And of course, you can reach out to us directly. My cards are on our table. You can reach out to the council and of course the Sands. Please do so with any questions. And now, wait on. Without further ado, here he is again. I would like to introduce Sands VP and Chief Procurement Officer Norbert Riesler, who you might have already met back in March 1st, but actually like 5 minutes ago, whatever, in an in-depth procurement presentation. Norbert.
Awesome. All right, off we go. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, the Nassau Councils of Chambers. Thank you, all the resource partners, and thank you, George, for the community college here. It's actually almost a little bit of a homecoming for me, not that I've been at this community college before, but some 30 years ago, I came from Austria to the United States, and I figured I need to get a little bit of education, and it started with a community college in Minnesota. I did then end up getting some other degrees afterwards, but so I'm a big fan and a big supporter of community colleges in general. Okay, today I'm going to walk you through a presentation. Some of you might have already seen it if you attended our online academy. but maybe it is done better in person to explain a little bit about us as a company, what we are planning to do here in beautiful Island, and then the procurement process. After that, we're going to go into breakout sessions, and that's actually the really important part. I brought my procurement leaders with me here, and I will introduce them at the end of this, that you guys know who to pay attention to and which breakout room that you might want to go to. And then there is also all the additional resources that are out there available for you as well from all of our partners. So thanks for being here. I'm sorry that we started a little bit late. I guess traffic, in Long Island can be a little bit of an issue at this time of the evening, supposedly. Okay, let's get right into it on who we are. So Sands is, we call ourselves the largest integrated resort operator in the world. This is fresh out of our ESG report, but the information is already a little bit outdated, and thank God it's a little bit outdated. So it says here, last year we made $4 billion in annual revenue. Last year was still a very difficult year for us. We have big operations over in Macau that was really still locked down most of last year because of COVID. China had a very strict policy, as many of you are aware. The good news is, and this is public information since we had our earnings call last night, in the first quarter this year alone we made $2.1 billion in revenue. So we expect for the full year that our revenue is more going to be like $8-9 billion this year. So we are back, really back in business. The other good news is you see the team members. We have about 35,000 team members globally. So it takes a lot of people to run an integrated resort. And we are hiring like crazy. I bet you we are close to 40,000 team members. This was at the end of last year. What is holding us back actually right now in our operations is we can't find enough people and ramp up enough quickly. So we might be back by the end of the year, we might be more at 42,000 team members. The integrated resorts, and I talk a little bit more what our vision is for Long Island, but many of you have been to Vegas, I'm sure, so you have seen these really big integrated resorts, and that's what we really operate in. On the other side of this graph, though, what we are really proud of, we have a really long-term team members around the globe. 89% retention rate. We have 46% of our workforce has been with us more than 10 years. We are only roughly 20 years old as a company. When you look at ESG, I know that it's a little debatable right now out in the public, but for us it's not a debatable. Environment, social interaction, and governance is really important for us. And we are not only a leader in our space, in the integrated resorts business or hospitality business, but we are really a leader when it comes to ESG globally, actually. And as part of the Dow Jones Sustainability Index, we are always ranked as one of the top 100 companies worldwide. We pay a lot of attention to our people, we pay a lot of attention to our suppliers, to small businesses, to minorities, to disenfranchised communities. It is really important to us as a company. All right, Long Island. We really want to be here. We are really excited. The site is literally next door. The Nassau Coliseum, and we really want to change it and change the entire site. We are planning to invest up to $4 billion, so with the big B. It always sounds much better when you actually say $4,000 million. It's a lot of money that needs to be sourced as well in order to spend that. And we are planning to build a true integrated resort. And we only do we don't know anything else but to do high-end stuff. We can't help ourselves. Our resorts are really 5-star, 4-star in every aspect, whether it is the meeting or convention space, whether it is the restaurants, including typically we line up with a lot of celebrity chefs around the world. You know, you have your spas and your swimming pools. And what people maybe sometimes misunderstand, the gaming space, and yes, there will be gaming space, is typically less than 10%. Often actually in some of our really big resorts, it's only about 3% of the actual footprint of one of these integrated resorts. This is though and normally this part, my friend and colleague, the Governor Patterson normally does this part. So we need your help in this. We are applying for a license, but it's a competition, which is great. Upstate New York has had gaming for, I think, the last 8 years, I believe. And in that legislation that was done, it was decided there will also be gaming in downstate. And that process has kicked off with a RFA, a request for application. Every gaming company in the world is interested in it. I'm sure that you have heard about many different projects from from Manhattan or different areas. So it's a true, genuine competition. We believe that the best site and the best community for this is here in Long Island. But we really ask for all of your help to make sure that everybody knows that you also support it and that you want to be partners with us and that you want to bring this business here to this area, to this county. Let's go into the actual sourcing. So these are some of our resorts that we have around the globe, and we just spend a lot of money. We buy a lot of stuff. So last year was actually, like I said, a very difficult year for us, and yet we spent $1.8 billion in buying products and services. And we're going to break this a little bit further down for you, that you kind of understand what we are buying and what we are focusing on. We have 4,700 supplier partners with us globally. And in order to support the typical integrated resort, it takes about 2,000, 2,500 supplier partners. So if we were to be fortunate enough to be here, we would expect the same, that we needed about 2,500 of you to work with us so we can spend a lot of money. And these are the categories, and I will split it out a little bit more. Some of them, like the ferry operation and the aviation, might not quite make sense for here. I don't think we are planning to have a ferry operation, but in our other operations in Asia, we actually run a whole air fleet and we run a whole ferry operations as well to get our guests to our properties. I'm going to talk now about two different areas. First, you're going to need to build the integrated resort, and then you have an operational ongoing spend. So let's talk a little bit first on how much money we typically spend when we build a integrated resort. Like I said, the plan for here is about $4 billion resort. We still go back and forth. I think our application is due in a couple of months to the state of New York, so we are trying to settle it down exactly how many hotel towers and all of that, but roughly about $4 billion. And in the initial phase, in the construction phase, this is how it breaks down. 70% of it is roughly of that $4 billion goes to the actual construction of it, building it, and I will talk a little bit more about that. You obviously have to design it, to engineer it. You have to fit it in with all of the furniture. You have to do the project management and all of that. So that's the breakout roughly on the initial one. And then we break out, some of you, I talked to somebody that is, has an HVAC business, for example, that 70% of the construction costs breaks into kind of like a third, roughly, right? So the structure and the facade, so actually building it and having all the concrete and the steel and all of that represents about 35%. Another 32% is then in all of the MEP, so it's mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. So that's all your HVAC, all of your, fiber cables, all of your electrical stuff, all of your plumbing, and all of that. And then roughly another third or so goes then into the fit out, and that goes from lighting to carpet to furniture and all the rest of it. Okay, this is kind of a busy chart. You can see it pretty well, actually. So this is the ongoing spend. So after we have spent $4 billion to build it and hiring literally thousands of people with our contractors to get the resort built, then in order to operate it, we are thinking we will spend roughly $300 to $500 million a year. We actually, it sounds kind of crazy for a procurement person, but we want to actually spend more because that means that we have loads of revenue coming in. That means we have loads of customers in the building. So we are thinking it actually is more on the $500 million side than on the $300 million side per year. So I'm going to quickly run through what the different categories are. Food and beverage is self-explanatory, right? We have our own kitchens often. So you need to buy the meat, the seafood, the flour, the pasta, and all the rest of it. But then we typically have pretty big convention business, and there are certain food types that we completely outsource. Bread making, maybe a sushi operation. It could be certain desserts or pastries that might be completely outsourced that our suppliers are providing to them. To us. Entertainment, we are from Las Vegas and we are planning to bring some of the best shows in the world here to Long Island, right? But the entertainment goes from anything from lounge acts to jazz players to comedians to the list goes on to big shows as well. Marketing, advertising, great, where we saw earlier there. Yes, M square. I know. So we do obviously market a lot, and that is online media, but also it is offline media, meaning your billboards, your brochures, your magazines, and all of that. So we spend quite a bit of that, and then we need a lot of printed material, anything from menus, and the list goes on. Technology, I'm going to take a sip. I flew in from Hong Kong, by the way, last night, so there's a chance that I don't remember a damn thing that I was saying tonight, so good thing you're filming that I can, I said that, wow. Technology, for us, so that's all the IT stuff, right? So it's computers, servers, and all of that. You have all the software of the many systems that we need, hotel operating systems, skating operating systems, food and beverage operating systems, back of the house from financial to procurement and all the rest of it. It includes all the cybersecurity stuff, and I know we are already talking to people here in Long Island about cybersecurity. So it includes all of that. We need loads of AV stuff for our big convention centers, and I know we are talking to some folks about that. So all the stuff that you see on the screens in that booth, we need to buy all of that. We have loads of TVs that we need in the hotel rooms, mini bars, and the list goes on. Am I forgetting anything, Bob? You can tell them the rest that I'm forgetting. Gaming supplies, that's your cards, your shufflers, your slot machines, and all of that good stuff. Utilities, why it's on the list to buy as well here is because it is an unregulated market for some of the utilities here, so obviously we need electricity and gas and all of that good stuff to run our operations. Operating supplies is all the stuff that you can't fit in anywhere else. It goes from napkins to Chinaware to out to everything, including toilet paper, that goes into this category, and we need loads of it. Professional services, typically the three really big categories are laundry services. Huge business, by the way. If you have thousands of hotel rooms, if you need to turn over your laundry on a daily basis, you can only imagine, in addition to all of your restaurants as well. So laundry service falls into this one. Transportation, we normally use a lot of transportations. This includes, your high-end limousines to your buses and all the rest of it. We typically don't own them, and we typically outsource that to transportation companies. And then labor. For those of you who have labor services and labor agencies, we spiked a lot in our labor needs, especially on the convention side. So we have big operations. We typically hire a lot of people directly, but then we also, in order to balance the big convention spikes and all of that, we source a lot of labor as well. Benefits, we pride ourselves to have the best benefits, not only in the industry, but maybe the best benefits in the world. It's amazing, and I always like to point this out. We do not have any of our 35,000 team members worldwide. They don't have a part that they need to pay themselves as part of the benefits. We as a company provide it all. And the benefits are absolutely superb. And what people don't understand is that the housekeeper, for example, and the top executives have exactly the same benefit in our company. So we buy the benefits, obviously, medical, vision, and all of that. And our founder, Mr. Adelson, the reason why we actually had such a difficult time over the last couple of years, financially still going through this, but don't worry, we are back and we are very profitable. We have loads of money to invest, but Mr. Adelson was the first one in Las Vegas when COVID hit. He actually did an op-ed in numerous nationwide papers and said, I will not lay off a single person, and we're going to get through COVID together. So our business in Macau was actually brutally difficult over the last 2-3 years, and you saw that 35,000 team members, we kept all of them throughout the world, even through all of the very difficult times. So for us, team members and giving them excellent benefits that we need to buy goes together. Then we renovate our properties constantly, we reinvest in them constantly. We've just invested $2.2 billion in Macau. It's information in Singapore in our resorts. We invested $1 billion in renovating our room and public areas. So we constantly reinvest a lot into our buildings. And then facilities, that's basically, once the operation is up and running, like this, you always need techs for HVAC and plumbing, and you need to fix doors, and you need to reupholster something. So that's the spend there. Okay, don't worry, I'm not going to take too much longer, and then I'm going to send you off with our team here. Local sourcing is extremely important to us. We are really, really good at it. Overall, we achieve about 80% local sourcing. You see the numbers in Singapore and Macau are a little bit higher. But they are a little bit unique in that they are a city that is also a country with its own regulations well. For New York, we think that we will source something like 75 to 78% of that $4 billion initial investment and 500 million ongoing. We believe that we will spend that in New York. The reason why the US percentage is so low is because it's small spend in our corporate office, so you have typically like national, global audit firms and all of that. So that's why it isn't that local spend. That's not representative of what an integrated resort is. Yes, I brought some of our procurement leaders with me from Las Vegas, but the reality is we will have a local procurement organization here that will work with the small corporate team, but most of the procurement will be done in New York, from New York. So in Long Island and from Long Island with people that are going to be here on the property. So 90% of our procurement organizations are on the sites that we are operating, supported by our global team. And then supplier diversity is important to us, and supporting small businesses is important to us, and that we are really, really good at it. We are in Macau currently, it's called SME, Small Medium Enterprises, but it's basically the small business community there. 24% of what we are buying is from the small and medium enterprises there. And we have, I think we are the only one, as far as I am aware, that actually has a dedicated supplier quality organizations. We work with our suppliers. We teach them what we need. We have a procurement academy, like we call it here, that has actually training programs. We will work with the various different chambers because we don't want to duplicate what community college already does or what the chambers already do. We want to supplement them in maybe needs that are not met, and then we will create those support programs and training programs around that. All right, when do we actually source? So we have kind of started, but very little. The cookies that are served back there are locally sourced. Oh, more cookies as well. Hang on. This one has to wait a little bit. 1 second. Thank you. And where we are at right now is at the really concept and architectural high-level stage, right? What we really need is a license from the state of New York. And then this is then the timeline that is laid out. First, you will focus a lot on all of the construction stuff. You then go into all of the hardware for the audiovisual, all the cabling and all of that. We then do a lot of the furniture and the facilities items. Then, the marketing starts, a lot of our gaming equipment and all of that. And sorry, if you're a food and beverage supplier, you gotta wait a little bit until we need to build the restaurants, first we need to build the convention spaces, and then we can serve the food. Speaking of that, typically we provide food for all of our team members. So if we will have 8,000 team members here, which would be pretty typical for an integrated resort, we need food to feed them as well on a daily basis. So what are the steps? So typically the way it works is we need to figure out first what we need. And I know some of you really want to sell your services now, but if we don't really need it yet, then we can't buy it yet. So we first need to figure out all the stuff that we need. Right now it is really high-level design and architectural services that we are in need for. So then we decide, hey, who are the suppliers that we should be doing business with? And this is where you really can help us. And we give you an email again on the SANS, New York procurement at SANS.com, but it will show up later as well. We love it that you tell us what you do. So when we actually need to source it, we go to our lists and then saying, hey, this is great, these are the 2-3 suppliers or 4 or 5 that are providing these goods and services. rather than for us to start doing all the local research and Googling and all the rest of it. So then we go out and we do like to bid stuff out. We do like to save the money. We do like to have a fair competition. But it is based on the best value. We are not about buying cheap. We are about getting the best suppliers that can really provide the goods or services to us on a continuous basis, that has the right quality level, that has the right management in place. And yes, cost will be a factor as well, but all of those factors go in. Then we pick you, and if you are not already in our system, we then do a due diligence on you. We are a highly regulated industry. Gaming in general is highly regulated by each one of the states, so we have obligations to do due diligence from the gaming side. But we are also a financial institution because we give credits to players, and therefore we are also regulated by the financial environment. So think about it, it's gaming plus banking regulations that we have to meet. And one of those is we have to understand who we are doing business with. So there is going to be what we call due diligence process that we're going to go through. Then we're going to give you our purchase order, and the terms and conditions are on our website. Or we do a special contract that we negotiate with you. That's the best day of your life. Once that is done, you have the agreement, you can start delivering products and services. So then it's up to you to make sure that you deliver those products and services that you signed up for. We are a demanding customer because our customers are demanding. We excel in really high-end integrated resorts, as I mentioned, so we do expect quite a bit from our customers, but we are really good partners when we have worked together. We have many suppliers around the world that have worked with us for 5 years, 10 years, up to 20 years in Las Vegas. And then we pay you, which is important. And we pay you on time. We are really good at it, even throughout COVID. Even through all the difficult times that we went through, we never changed our payment. It's always net 30. We don't push it out to net 60 or net 90 in even the most difficult times, because we understand that your business is just as difficult to run as our business. And when times are good, we all celebrate together. And when times are tough, we pay you because we know that you need the money just as we need it. So next steps, please keep on signing up, because that's one of the ways that we can communicate directly with you. We will be back. You know, there's a famous Austrian fellow of mine called Arnold Schwarzenegger, so I'll be back. So we will be back. I think we're looking at June, where we're going to be back here, and we're going to think about maybe doing kind of more one-on-one to kind of set up maybe one of those dating circles where we meet with each one of you for 15 minutes and to really understand each other and see if we like each other and if we're going to get married or not. So that's the plan for June. Now we're going to break out. Don't run away yet. We have to wait. And Frank, you need to make your way down here again. So this is the breakout rooms. I think some of them are upstairs, most of them are upstairs, some of them are down here. Let's stand up quickly, the 5 of you, that I can quickly introduce you. So these are the really, I talk a lot, I try to do as little as possible. These are actually all the really important people. So let's start here. This is funny. 5 people, we have 2 Georginas. So we have Georgina Moreno. She has been with us, I think, for 15 years. And she does a lot of the professional services, so anything to do with, again, laundry, transportation, marketing, print, all of that good stuff. Make sure you go and see her. Mr. Bob Marquez joined us a couple of years ago, and he is your man for technology. So anything that you can think of, from AV equipment to TVs to software to hardware to cabling, he buys it for us globally. So you really want to connect with him. Because construction, design, architecture, facilities kind of stuff is so important, and early on, the two tall gentlemen are working together as a team. Mr. Chad Forrester leads construction procurement, furniture procurement, and gaming procurement for us globally. And his right-hand man here in the United States is Uzi. So these two are really important for you when you have construction, facilities, design, architecture. Talk to them. And then last but least, we have another Georgina Dean. And Georgina she actually doesn't handle right now our food and beverage and operating supplies, but she has loads of experience in that. Remember, we sold our beloved Venetian and Palazzo in Las Vegas. So she has worked actually for integrated resorts, including MGM and Galaxy, for 20 plus years, I think, and has bought food and beverage and operating supplies many times over. So if you are interested in that area, please go and see Georgina Dean. All right, Frank. Where is Frank? Frank, I need you. Come on. Run, Forrest. Run. And Rachel, keep me straight. Did I miss anything, or we are good? I think we are good, right? Okay. Back one slide. Locally sourced and Long Island. Thank you so much.
Shop local, everybody.
All right, so that being said, I want you guys to also look out for the new Roku channel. What's the name of that channel?
We Dream TV.
We Dream TV is a new Roku channel. We want you to look out for that. It's going to be a African American cultural arts, entertainment, sports channel. So it's going to be...
It's 1979 all over again for an independent film crew on Long Island. The movie is called The Last B-Boy 1979, The Roosevelt Roller Rink. It's a fictional feature set in the skating venue, a hotspot during the early days of hip-hop. The writer and director is Andre Gilty, a former rapper who grew up in the neighborhood.
People don't understand it was kids who started hip-hop. They weren't adults, it wasn't corporate, it wasn't colonized. It was children just creating stuff for them to have a good time.
The film was shot partly at the Roosevelt Youth Center and here in Seaford at the United States of America. Actors were cast from all over Long Island and New York City. What part are you playing in this movie?
I will be playing Nene.
And who is she? What's her role in the film?
Oh, she's the feisty one, the prettiest girl in school. All the guys like her. She just has spunk.
One star of the film is Chuck Chillout, a DJ at WBLS who helped put hip-hop on the map.
Well, it was hard to get in them skate rinks. You know, you had to have a name back then. You know, so you talking 1980, 80, 81. You know, you had to have a name to get them. To get in a real big skate rink back then, you had to have a name.
Using break dancers, skate dancers, and even karate experts, Gilty says his movie strives to be authentic and historically accurate.
So we try to show them that these are all of the elements. This is how we dress. This is how we talk. We have the slang. Give me some slang, man.
Word to the mother. Say that.
Principal photography for The Last B-Boy 1979, the Roosevelt Roller Rink, wrapped up at the end of March. The release date has yet to be announced. For Newsday TV, I'm Ray Guzman.
And you take that and get your application in. Once you get the application in, you can call and check, make sure everything's okay. And when you get the application, another thing also, You got to make sure you fill out the whole application. Make sure everything is filled in correctly. Because what happens is if you don't fill out the application correctly or there's information missing, what they do is they shift through the applications, and if it's incomplete or there's something wrong with it, they don't stop and call you up and say, hey David, hey Joey, you're missing something in your application. They take that application and it goes in the garbage. So now you're thinking that you got an application in, but it's not in because it was incomplete, something was wrong with it. All right, so if they say on the application you need A, B, C, and D, you do A, B, C, and D. You want a complete application. That's very, very important. All right, past that, all I want to tell you guys is don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Right now, the economy, honestly, is a little slow right now. I don't know if you guys noticed that. It is a little slow out there. But at the same time, people are retiring. They're leaving the trades. And guess what they need? They need new people to come in. Regardless. People are leaving, people got to come in. They can't run a union without you guys, without the membership. And so they're constantly looking for guys to come in. And my thing is, why not you? Why not you? You know what I'm saying? And the reason why they're gonna know about you because you're there and your application's sitting on their table. All right? You did everything you did in your power to get the job. And that's what I really want to get through to you guys today is do everything in your power to get those jobs. Make $100,000 a year. Buy a house. Send your kids to college. Buy the cars you want to buy. Take vacations. You know what I'm saying? It's all about making it to the middle class and making a difference in your lives and the people that love you and the people that you love. You know what I'm saying? All right? I'm excited about being a union worker. It really is fantastic. And on that note, I know you guys got it. I said it a few times before we got started about taking action. That's really the key, taking action with the information you have. You know what I'm saying? You guys have any questions? I know we talked before we got started, and we kind of went over that before, but. Huh? They came. They came for a second. They broke it. They were supposed to come back, but we didn't get the return call on them coming back. But I got their number, that local one, the plumbers. Yeah. And so yeah, call them up. Hit them up with, hey, I'm calling you information on your next class, your next apprenticeship class. It sounds like, it sounds like you're in a loop. And they're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, cool, hold on. How you hear about us? Oh, a friend told me, I heard it's a great opportunity. Okay. And you're going to proceed on the phone call, they're going to give you the information that you need. That's when they're going to take their classes, they're going to do their paperwork and things that needs like that. That's basically it. Any questions past that? No? But you got the pump. I want you to be pumped, motivated. I don't want you not to be motivated and don't give up. Don't be like, Make the phone calls. Check on when you got to take in those applications and make sure you go and be there for those applications. All right? All right, so, today's meeting is going to be short and brief, and that's what I want to be short and brief, but the main thing I can tell you guys is be active, take action. When it came to my little story, with my cousin telling me about this job that pays $1,000, I didn't know nothing about it, but the money sounded great. And at that point, I was only making I was making $180 at that point. So when he said 1,000, I was like, yeah. I said, I gotta go check this out. And so I went, I checked it out, and here I am 35 years later, talking to you guys, the future union workers of America. You guys get these jobs, and you guys, I want to help you guys as much as I can. Call me if you have any trouble. You guys have my number, you know what I'm saying? Call me if you call me, anything going on. This goes on past the time. I'm real serious about this. If I can help you do whatever you need to do as far as connecting dots, let me know. When it comes down to Local 28, give me a call. Let me know. When you get the application in July, hopefully, the school is taking the application, whatever, when you get it. If you want me to take a look at your application before you send it in, to make sure it's filled in correctly, I will do that for you guys, all right? I want you to have a complete application. I want you guys to get the jobs, all right? And I really mean that, all right? So you can call me anytime. Sean Davis, all right? All right, thank you guys very much.